मम मन मंदिरे रहनिषि दीना कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी भक्ति प्रीति माला चंदन भक्ति प्रीति माला चंदन तुम्ही नियो हे नियो चित्तानंद तुम्ही नियो हे नियो चित्तानंद जीवन मरण तव पूजा निवेदन जीवन मरण तव पूजा निवेदन सुंदर है मनहारी सुंदर है मनहारी ईशु नंद कुमार नंद कुमार ईशु नंद कुमार नंद कुमार हबे प्रेम प्रदीपे आरती तोमार हबे प्रेम प्रदीपे आरती तोमार नयन जमुना झरियानी बारा नयन जमुना झरियानी बारा तोमार विरहे गिरिधारी तोमार विरहे गिरिधारी वंदन गणित बाजू जीवन वंदन गणित बाजू जीवन कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी श्री कृष्ण मुरारी मम मन मंदिरे रहनिषि जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव इतर गौर प्रेमानंद
Slowly. Just slowly. Yes, please. Ujjvala Gauravardeham Vilasita Niravadhi Bhava Videham Tribhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Tribhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Tribhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanaya Gadgadantara Bhava Vikaram Durjana Tarjana Nada Vishalam Avabhaya Bhanjana Karana Karunam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam Avabhaya Bhanjana Karana Karunam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam Aruna Baradhara Charukapolam Indu Vinindita Nakhachaya Ruchiram Jalpita Nijaguna Nama Vinodam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam Vigalita Nayana Kamala Jaladharam Bhushana Navarasa Bhava Vikaram Gati Ati Mantara Nitya Vilasam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanaya Chanchala Charu Charana Gati Ruchiram Manjira Ranjita Padayuga Madhuram Chandra Vinindita Shitala vadanam tam pranamami cha Sri Sachitanayam. Dhritakati Dhorakamandalo dandam Divya Kalevara Mundita Mundam. Durjana Kalmasha Khandana Dandam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam. Bhushana Bhuraja Alakavalidam Kampita Bimbadhara Vara Ruchiram. Malaya Javira Chitta Ujvala Tilakam Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam. Ninditaruna Kamladala Nayanam Ajanulambita Shri Bhuja Yugalam. Kalevara Kaishura Nartaka Vesham Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam. Ujvala Varana Gaura Varadeham Vilasita Niravadi Bhava Videham. Tribhuvana Pavana Kripaya Vesham Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam. Tribhuvana Pavana Kripaya Vesham Tam Pranamami Cha Sri Sachitanayam. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Jayam Vishnupad. Oh, you're going to sing, but okay, we have time, right? Okay. You're going to do another bhajan? Another bhajan or? Yeah, we can sing that. O he Vaishnava Thakuram Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. Diyapada Chaya Shudohe Amaya Tumara Charana Dhoti.
Ganga, Krishna Krishna Holi, Jai Tava Pache Pache. Ohe Vaishnava Thakuram, Doyara Sagaram.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, will now set up for the discourse. All the asanas facing towards the mic. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If it doesn't work well, which other instrument do you want?
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's see. It's all right. It's okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Kotos? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Dira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjanaya Yamuna Dira Vanachari Yamuna Dira Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grananta Kota Vaishnavanda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Prem Sika Host Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shiva Namanam ki jai, Sri Maya Parnavidam ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gau Premanandi, all glorious summer devotees, all glorious summer devotees, all glorious summer devotees, all glorious Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. First canto. So before I begin, I want to express my gratitude for being here in ISV. For many years, I've told Vaiseshika Prabhu that if you ever get a brahmacharya ashram up there, I'll come right up. He said he wanted to have a brahmacharya ashram, so it hasn't happened yet. But there's somewhat of a brahmacharya ashram with a men's ashram there. It's almost a brahmacharya ashram. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. Such nice devotees. Vaiseshika Prabhu is such a wonderful example, and devotees are following in his nice example. So, yeah. So we're going to read now from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, I think chapter 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading from the first canto, chapter 2, text number 6. Is there someone there? Many of you probably know this verse. Oh, here we go. Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti udhok saje ahati kya prati yata yatma suprasidati Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti udhok saje ahati kya prati yata yatma suprasidati Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhakti udhok saje ahati kya prati yata yatma suprasidati. Others like to chant?
Savai pungsam paro dharmo
Savai pungsam paro dharmo
yato bhakti radoksaje
yato bhakti udhok saje
ahitoki apratiyata
ahati kya pratiyata
yatma suprasidati
yatma suprasidati.
Save pumsam paro dharmo
Savai pungsam paro dharmo
yato bhakti dadhokshaje
yato bhakti udhok saje
ahetukya pratihata
ahati kya pratiyata
yayatma suprasidati.
yatma suprasidati.
Savai pumsam paro dharmo
Savai pungsam paro dharmo
yator bhakti adokshaje
yato bhakti udhok saje
ahaitukiya pratihata
ahati kya pratiyata
yayatma suprasidati.
yatma suprasidati. Anybody else? Sa, that, vai, certainly, pungsam, for mankind, para, sublime, dharma, occupation, yata, by which, bhakti, devotional service, adhoksaje, unto the transcendence, ahayatiki, causeless, apriyata, unbroken, yaya, by which, atma, the self, supersedati, completely satisfied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. The supreme occupation, Dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Purport. In this statement, Sri Suta Goswami answers the first question of the sages of Naimisranya. The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scriptures and present the most essential part so that fallen people or the people in general might easily take it up. The Vedas prescribe two different types of occupation for the human being. One is called the pravritti marg, or the path of sense enjoyment, and the other is called the nivritti marg, or the path of renunciation. The path of enjoyment is inferior, and the path of sacrifice for the supreme cause is superior. The material existence of the living being is a diseased condition of actual life. Actual life is spiritual existence, or Brahma Bhuta existence, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Material existence is temporary, illusory and full of miseries. There is no happiness at all. There is just a futile attempt to get rid of the miseries, and temporary cessation of misery is falsely called happiness. Therefore, the path of progressive material enjoyment, which is temporary, miserable, and illusory, is inferior. But devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to eternal, blissful, and all-cognizant life, is called the superior quality of occupation. This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. For example, adoption of devotional service for a material gain is certainly an obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. Renunciation or abdication for ultimate good is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the diseased condition of life. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptoms of disease and increases its duration. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord must be pure in quality. That is, without the least desire for material enjoyment. One should therefore accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotional service to the Lord without any tinge of unnecessary desire, fruit of action, or philosophical speculation. This alone can lead one to perpetual solace in his service. We have purposely denoted Dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word Dharma is that which sustains one's existence. A living being's sustenance of existence is to coordinate his activities with his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of living beings, and he is the all-attractive living entity or eternal form amongst all other living beings or eternal forms. Each and every living being has its eternal form in the spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is his part and parcel. The relation is one of the servant and the served. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our experience in the material existence. This relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. I'll repeat that, it's good. This relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. Congenial means, what does it mean? Pleasing. It means the most pleasing form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. Everyone should engage himself in that transcendental loving service of the Lord, even in the present conditional state of material existence. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life and please him to complete satisfaction. Om Jnanatamanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshram Litam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotavachalam Pangam Hayati Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So this word Dharma is actually a pretty well-known word even here in America. Dharma. The word Dharma means one's nature, just like the nature of water is it's wet. Nature of fire, it's hot. If fire is not hot, then it's not fire. Yeah. So the Dharma of the living entity is to serve. And therefore we have this presidential election coming up, and basically they're saying that I'll be the best servant of this country. Vote for me. Of course, that's lip service to get votes. But yeah, this is the nature of the soul, is to serve. And the best service that we can do is service to Krishna. Because everyone is part of Krishna. We're all spirit souls. We're not the material body. And that soul is part of the Supreme Soul, Krishna. God has a body also. But it's not like our body. It's got a transcendental body. And we also have a spiritual body. And now it's kind of dormant in these material bodies. But as we advance in spiritual life, this spiritual body grows. And in the spiritual world, we also have our spiritual body. Srila Prabhupada once said that the soul is embarrassed to be in the material body. Why? Because the nature of the soul is eternality, knowledge, and bliss. This is the nature of the soul, but we're stuck in these bodies that are temporary, so much ignorance and so much unhappiness. So it's not congenial. It's not very pleasing for the soul to be in this situation. So therefore the goal of the human form of life is to again pick up this service attitude towards Krishna. And there's a word in this, it's not in the translation, it's in the word for word. This word, ahaitaki, causeless. Now, in Prabhupada's books, this word is found quite a bit. Like over 1,000 times, this word causeless. But we know Krishna is the cause of all causes. So why is this word there, causeless? You know, Sarva Karana Karana, Krishna is the cause of all causes. So why is that word? I got a question for you before you ask me questions. Why is that word there so much in Prabhupada's books? Causeless. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I believe causeless describes the mood one should have when serving Krishna. It should be causeless. It should be unmotivated, without expecting a return, without having a desire that's, well, having any secondary desires besides serving Krishna.
Well, that gives the mood that one should have when one is serving Krishna, but that doesn't give the reason that word is there in Prabhupada's books. And yes, you have something to say? Yes.
I think because cause implies is a material quality, whereas causelessness is a transcendental quality. And
yes. It's not a material, it's spiritual. There's no material cause. Yes, you have something further to say?
I guess I was going to just mention, like, causeless just also indicates there is no other, let's say, I mean, Krishna doesn't have any other source of origin here, so it's also indicating his, like, firm position as, like, the creator and maintainer of everything in the world.
Okay. He's the cause of all causes, yes. So, yes, this is actually the reason is there's no material cause. Nayam atma prachayen labdo namedya nabahuna shrutena. In the Puranas it said that Krishna, he cannot be attained by material speculation, nor by given erudite lectures on the Vedas, nor even by much hearing. But he can be attained only by the person whom Krishna chooses. It's an interesting statement there. Now one may ask, well, who does Krishna choose? Who does Krishna choose to receive his mercy, to go back to Godhead, let's say? He chooses the person who has love for him. This is who Krishna chooses. So, how to attain this love for Krishna? We have this wonderful mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a transcendental mantra that can help us to become completely purified and develop our love for Krishna. And also by reading Prabhupada's books, we gain an attraction for Krishna. If there's no attraction for Krishna, how can there be love? Right? So hearing about Krishna, the more we hear about Krishna, the more we become attracted to Krishna. Because Krishna, he's pretty cool. Yeah. He's a really nice person. He's a person, and he's the nicest person, and he's the coolest person. Everything about Krishna is nice. Yeah. But what attracts Krishna the most is devotional service, is to serve Krishna with devotion. And he's not limited, or a person is not limited in how they can serve Krishna. Just like there was one little girl, Saraswati, who she was only 4 or 5 years old, and she would go to somebody and say, "Do you know who Krishna is?" And he would say, "Who is Krishna?" "Well, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And Prabhupada was so impressed. Here's this little girl preaching, Krishna consciousness. So it's not limited. Anybody can serve Krishna. Anybody can get the mercy of Krishna. And it's not even limited to human beings. There's a statement in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shruto Nipatya. Oh, Krishna is the source of all remembrance and forgetfulness. Now I'm slipping. Yeah. But the translation is that Shruto Nipatya, that pure devotional service is so transcendentally potent that simply by hearing, Shruto, simply by hearing about pure devotional service, simply by repeating or glorifying pure devotional service, remembering pure devotional service, having faith in pure devotional service, and glorifying those persons who are engaged in devotional service, simply by doing these things, even if someone hates everyone, he immediately becomes purified. That's a powerful statement. This is Niranjana Swami's favorite verse. It's a powerful statement. Pure devotional service is so pleasing to Krishna. Just by hearing the glories of it, remembering, meditating on it, one becomes completely purified. Even if one hates everyone. To hate everyone, that's like a pretty low consciousness, right? That's like really low. But if one appreciates devotional service, glorifies devotional service, meditates on pure devotional service, one gets purified. I'll tell you an interesting, I'll go on to this verse and I'll tell you one little instance that happened on book distribution. There was a devotee distributing books, and he distributed a book to one student, and he wasn't that interested, but he thought, let me be nice to this person. He's a nice person, so he took the book. And this person was actually, he was an atheist. But he took it home and he read it. And he was so impressed. This book was called The Science of Self-Realization. He was so impressed that he became a theist. He believed in God from reading that book. The next day, he was at the campus, and this same person, this same devotee, was going around distributing books, and this person had gotten the book the day before, saw this devotee, and the devotee came up and he was talking to him, and he told his friends, "This book is amazing. I used to be an atheist. Now I believe in God. I used to hate people. Now I love people." So he gave the devotee $50 more, without even taking another book. I'm so appreciative of what you're giving here. Gave him $50, a student. And he told his friends, "You guys got to get this book," and they all bought books. Yeah. So this is the power of this knowledge. Yeah. And again, it's not limited. You don't even have to be a human being. Krishna is so pleased with pure devotees that he said, even if someone, he's a pure devotee, he has a dog, I give mercy to that dog. And there's an example of this devotee, Shivananda Sen. He would bring the devotees from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri every year, about 200 devotees. And there was no cars, no trains, no planes. How'd they get there? They would walk. And that's quite some distance of walking. Like, I don't know how many miles. Anybody know? Anybody have any idea? Yeah, you could Google it, see how far it is from I guess, from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri. It's probably, I don't know, a couple hundred miles, I'm speculating. So he would take them every year. And they didn't have tents. We have nice tents now. And we have, sleeping bags, and we have mats and all these nice things for camping out. They didn't have all that. And there's mosquitoes. So it must have been very, very uncomfortable. And there's tigers. In India, there's tigers. I know. I was in India, and I went to one temple, and the devotee took me to one zoo, and there's so many tigers. They catch tigers. There's a lot, and so it's dangerous also. So he would do this every, how far? 561 kilometers. How many miles is that? About 320 miles. That's a long ways. And you walk, figure you walk maybe if you're doing good, 20 miles a day. Right? So that's what, maybe a couple months or something. That's a lot of walking. That's an austerity. But you see, they know they're going to get a very nice result from that austerity. They're going to get the darshan of who? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda. So they do the austerity to get the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda and so many great Vaishnavas. So, where was I? Before we got the miles. Oh, Sivananda Sen. Sivananda Sen, he would take these. He was in charge. He was the manager. So there's one point where he was coming down, and there was a dog, and he's a great Vaishnava, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gabi Hashtani. That a devotee he sees, with equal vision, the Brahmana, the elephant, the dog eater, he sees them all. So he took this dog, and he was taking care of it. He was feeding it. And there was one point where he had to go and take care of some taxes or something. He told the devotees, take care of the dog, make sure you feed him, take care of him. And they said, okay. And then when he returned, the dog was gone. And he thought, he must have been offended. He left. So he got 10 devotees to go out and try to find the dog. And this is India. It's an India dog, not like dogs here, I mean, Indian dogs. Like, everybody just wants to, get rid of the dog, But he was so compassionate. And they didn't find the dog. And he was lamenting. Then when they got to Jagannath Puri, the dog was there. And Lord Chaitanya was throwing coconut pulp to the dog. And he's getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya, he tells him to chant Hare Krishna. And the dog's chanting. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chanting it somehow. That's exactly how it was, but he was chanting. And then Shivananda Sena arrives, and the dog is there. He pays obeisances to the dog. Offer him respect. He's there with Lord. He's getting the mercy. He got the darshan of Lord Chaitanya before the other devotees. He could run faster, Amazing. Completely amazing. And then he got word that the next day he went back to Godhead. This dog went back to Godhead. Why? Why did he go back to Godhead? Because he got the mercy of a pure devotee. He got the mercy of Sivananda Sena. So this is remarkable. So if we get the mercy of a pure devotee, then we're set. Krishna's pleased. Yeah. A dog got the mercy. That means there's hope for us. Yeah? There's hope. That we can become pure devotee. We can go back to Godhead. Yeah. Another interesting example is of Amoga. Amoga was the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was a great devotee. He was a Mayavadi. He was one of the biggest Mayavadi. He was famous Mayavadi in India at the time. But he also got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He was in Jagannath Puri, and when Lord Chaitanya arrived in Jagannath Puri, he went to the temple and he fainted in ecstasy. And the leaders of the temple, they didn't know what to do. Because it would look like he was lifeless. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he went and he got some cotton and he put it next to his nose, and he could see from the filaments moving that he's still alive. He's in some very high level of ecstasy. So he said, take him to my home. So they did. And then the devotees came and saw that he was in his ecstasy. And what did they do? They chanted very loudly. And eventually Lord Chaitanya came out of his samadhi. And he was very happy to see that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had taken him. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he would actually instruct sannyasis. He was such a elevated personality. So he wanted to instruct Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya, he was a young sannyasi, 24 years old, and he's tall. How tall was he? Anybody know? 7 feet. Tall and golden colored. Very attractive. Tall, handsome, beautiful. So he said, you're going to be careful, So he spoke to him. For how long? How many days? 7 days he spoke, and Lord Chaitanya didn't didn't say anything, didn't ask any questions. And so Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? You're not asking. And I understand, but you have a misunderstanding. So it's, oh, really? I have a misunderstanding. Well, you explain. And then Lord Chaitanya explained Vedanta. And he understood this is God. Nobody else can speak, can give an understanding like this. So he understood. So he surrendered. And Lord Chaitanya revealed to him the sadbhus, the six-armed form of the Lord. So he got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So he became a great, great, great devotee of the Lord. So he had this son-in-law, Amoga, who was very envious. Somehow, I don't know how, but he became envious of Lord Chaitanya, just envious in general. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he invited Lord Chaitanya to lunch at his place, and he and his wife cooked a great feast for him. And when Lord Chaitanya went there and he saw all the preparations, he said, what is this? I'm a sannyasi, I can't eat all this, it's not possible. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he said, I know that you're eating, what is it, every day in the Jagannath temple, what is it, 54 times, I think? Huh? 56. 56 times. I know every day you're eating 56 times, then this is nothing for you. So Lord Chaitanya smiled and said, all right. Can't fool Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he sat down and he's taking prasad. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was standing at the door with a stick, just in case Amoga came, because this person was so envious. I mean, I don't know what he did to become so envious, to have that reputation. But this is how low a character Amoga was. He had a stick to beat his son-in-law. I mean, generally, most of you are from India, you know, the son-in-law and the father-in-law, they're pretty close, like a son, isn't it? I mean, they're actually like a son, isn't it? But here, he's got a stick to beat his son-in-law. So he's there, he's guarding, and his wife is serving out prasad to Lord Chaitanya, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he sees at one point that she needs some help. So he reduced his guard duty, became a little lax in his guard duty, and when he was helping serve out prasad to Lord Chaitanya, and in that inattentive guard duty, Amoga peeks his head in the door and sees all the prasadam, and he says, what is this? This is enough food for 10 sannyasis. What kind of a sannyasi is this? And as soon as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya heard that, he looked at Amoga, and if a glance could burn someone, his glance would have burned him, to ashes. And when Amoga saw that, I'm in trouble now, so he took off running. So then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got his stick and he's chasing him to beat him. But he is elderly, he can't catch him. But he's just like lamenting like anything. He's lamenting like anything. That the Lord has come to my home and he's been offended by this rascal. So he is apologizing to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, please forgive us. You come to my home and this rascal. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, it's okay. He's right. I shouldn't be eating so much. I told you I shouldn't eat so much. You see? No, I'm getting a reaction here. Criticized. So they're both just feeling so bad and so forlorn, feeling so bad. And Lord Chaitanya said, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So then he went back to his quarters in the Gambhira. And then the next day, Gopinath Acharya, he went to see Lord Chaitanya, and he asked how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife are doing. And he said, well, they've been fasting ever since you were offended yesterday. They're still fasting. And Lord Chaitanya said, oh, come on, why are they taking this so seriously? It's not such a big deal. So, and then you said, and Amoga, how is Amoga? Amoga's dying. He has cholera. He's dying. He's on his deathbed. So immediately Lord Chaitanya said, take me to him. And Lord Chaitanya is running to where Amoga is. And he goes to Amoga. He's on his deathbed. He says, Amoga, why have you allowed this chandala of envy to sit in your heart? So Lord Chaitanya puts his hand on his chest. Because, he says, because you're a relative of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, take this holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, and chant the holy name. So Lord Chaitanya took his hand off his chest, and immediately Amoga jumps up out of his deathbed, and he's chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, incessantly. Excuse me. So he pays obeisances to Lord Chaitanya. Please forgive me for my offense. Please forgive me. And then again he gets up and he's chanting, but he's slapping his face. This mouth has blasphemed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's slapping it. He's slapping it hard, not soft like me. He's slapping it hard. It's so hard that his face becomes swollen, becomes red and swollen. Yeah. And Gopinath Acharya, he has to stop him from slapping himself. Yeah. He became such a great devotee. Amoga, the envious rascal that blasphemed Lord Chaitanya, became such a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. So why? How could someone so envious become such a great devotee? Because he was a son-in-law, he was a relative of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Yeah. So to become dear to a great devotee is very auspicious. And you have a great devotee living here in ISKCON of Silicon Valley, Vaisheshika, and so many nice devotees. So there's a devotee, Sudama, the garland maker. When Krishna, when he left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, he met many different personalities, and one of them was this Sudama. And Sudama was such a great devotee that Krishna said, just ask whatever you want and I'll give it to you. You're such a great devotee. Imagine Krishna comes to you and says, just whatever you want. Just take it. I'll give you whatever you want. That'd be pretty nice. Now the question is, what will we ask for? What would you ask for? Huh? I know what I would ask for. Pure devotional service. So what he asked for three things. That's the first thing he asked for. Pure devotional service. If we have pure devotional service, we're very wealthy. You know, all over the world, people want to be wealthy, right? Money is the honey. Right? If you have money, yeah, you got a big house, big car, and, you know. But that's not real wealth. If you have pure devotion to Krishna, therefore it's stated, prema dana vanavyatha daridra jivan dasa kore vitanya mora deha prema dana. This is spoken by Lord Chaitanya. You know, they have the Shikshashtaka verses, those 8 verses. In between those verses, you'll find there's other verses, and this is one of them. He says, if one does not have love for Krishna, one is a daridra jivan, a poor soul. Therefore, my dear Lord Krishna, please give me service to you. And all I want as salary is love for you. This is the salary he wants. Yeah, love for you. So this is the best salary. Not millions of dollars, but love for Krishna. So this is the first thing he asked for. Pure devotional. Now what's interesting is He's already a pure devotee, and we should know that because Krishna, he says to him, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. He's not going to say that to just anybody, right? He already had love for Krishna. Krishna was so pleased with him. But he wanted more. And that means there's no limit to the love that we can have for Krishna. Yeah. In this world, there's a limit. Boy meets girl. Yeah. And nice in the beginning. But generally, unfortunately, so much there's divorce. So nice in the beginning, they get married. Unfortunately, all over the world, India also, they break up, unfortunately. They see, because we're conditioned souls, you see the flaws in us. But Krishna, he's so great, he's so wonderful, he's unlimitedly great, he's unlimitedly wonderful. So the closer we get to Krishna, the more our love for Krishna will increase. So he wanted that, pure devotional service. Then he asked for friendship with his devotees, which is also interesting because he's a pure devotee. I'm sure he had many friends. In fact, he probably had many friends. But he wanted friendship. So, and this is the age of Kali. In the age of Kali, it's very difficult to have a very close friend. Why? Because Icha Dvaisa Samutvena Dvandamohena Bharata, we're born in this world bewildered by the dualities arising from desire and hate. Yeah? Just like that one student, he said, I used to hate everybody. So there's people like that. There's, road rage? People just lose it. So he wanted friendship with the devotees. So this is something we should also pray for. Friendship with the devotees. Devotional service, pure devotional service to Krishna. And the last thing he prayed for was compassion. For compassion for those who don't have this relationship with Krishna, or this desire to have a relationship with Krishna. So when I read that, I thought, wow, that's just beautiful. Three things, three very important things. Friendship with the devotees, compassion for other living entities, and love for Krishna. If we have that, we're set. And again, it's not limited. Devotional service is not limited, just like a person who may be very, very, very poor. But still, could serve Krishna with pure devotion. There's an instance of a devotee who was in one village. And as he was going through the village, he saw that there was a lecture going on. A devotee is giving a lecture. And there's sadhus there listening to his lecture. So this devotee thought, well, let me hear some nice Krishna Katha. So he sat down and he's listening. And the speaker said that one can serve Krishna in the mind. Manaseva. One could serve Krishna elaborately within the mind. And the devotee heard that, thought, wow, I'm a poor person, but I could worship Krishna elaborately in my mind. So that stuck in him, like, wow, that's so kind of Krishna. I could worship Krishna elaborately in my mind. So he went to the bank of the Ganges, and that's what he did. He started worshiping Krishna very elaborately in his mind. He would dress the deities with beautiful clothes, and he would make very nice preparations for Krishna, and he had the plates that Krishna would be served in would be gold, and he would clean the temple. He had, even in his mind, there was a temple even. He would clean the floor of the temple, big temple, and beautiful deities, and he was doing the deity worship 6 times a day. It was just, this is going on for years. For years he's going on like this, and he's just in ecstasy, serving Krishna in his mind. So there was one point where he had made some sweet rice for Krishna, and he had taken this so seriously that he put his finger to make, because sweet rice, it should be cool. The cooler, the better. So he put his finger in to see if it was cool, and he burnt his finger. Now it's all in the mind. And he's thinking, whoa, this is getting really real here. What is this? So in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan, he started smiling. And Lakshmi Devi said, oh, my Lord, why? Why you have this big smile on your face? He said, oh, you'll see. So he sent a Vaikuntha airplane down to pick up this devotee. He got a first-class ride. Didn't pay anything, except for his devotion. Long ride, Vaikuntha. First class. And took him right to where Vishnu was. And then he explained to Lakshmi, this devotee has been doing manaseva for years. And it's such a high standard of service. So I've invited him back. So he's there. Went back to Godhead. So this is the kindness of Krishna. This is the kindness of Krishna, that we can please him in so many ways. And one way that is very pleasing to Krishna is to give this knowledge to others. And today, I believe it's a day that devotees go out on book distribution. A number of devotees go out on book distribution today. Very auspicious day that people receive Krishna's mercy. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's stated that it's very common that devotees of the Lord accept voluntary austerity or difficulty to help the conditioned souls who are suffering in the material world. And this is the highest method of worshiping Krishna. Devotees all over the world, they're worshiping Krishna, they're making offerings and dressing the deities. Like, I must say that whoever dressed the deities, they really did a good job. It's beautiful. These outfits are just beautiful. Isn't it? So beautiful. Huh? Krishna looks like a cowherd boy there, right? He is a cowherd boy. So many ways the deities are being worshipped around the world, but according to the statement in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the best way to worship the Lord is to go out and give the message of Krishna to others, so they could learn about Krishna. People don't know about Krishna. Very little. Some people know a little bit. Even people who believe in God, they know very little about God. I grew up a Christian. In Christianity, there's very little information about God. God is great, He's omniscient, He's omnipotent. Not much more. But here, you get to hear so much about Krishna. Like, that's how I came and got darshan of the deities. I got a book first. And then I came to the temple. Then I saw the deities. So nice. Yeah. How many of you came because you received a book? Yeah. Very good. More than half. And therefore Prabhupada said it's the most important service. He said, if you want to please me, distribute books. And this is very pleasing to Krishna as well, and Radharani as well. So it's very auspicious, this distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books. And also it's not limited to that they get a book and they give a donation. Prabhupada said they just touch a book, they benefit. If they just appreciate the book distributors, they benefit. Like yesterday, this one Christian who's a Jehovah's Witness, they set up their stand next to us, and he said, he was kind of appreciating. He said, I noticed you last time I was there. You got a lot of passion for what you're doing. I said, yeah, I like what I'm doing. I put a lot of energy into it. So he was appreciating, actually. So they get some benefit for that. And amazing things happen on book distribution. It's a real adventure. Book distribution is a transcendental adventure. It's wonderful. Yeah. And there's a book called The Nectar of Book Distribution. They had that here, I believe. Yeah, you have that here, Nectar of Book Distribution. You haven't seen it? Yeah, it's in old. It was back in the 90s. They put it out. I also wrote a book, The Treasures of the Brihambardanga. I'll be distributing it here after the program, if anybody is interested. But amazing things happen on book distribution. There's one instance of a young man in I think it was Lithuania. He was a criminal, and he was like on the top 10 wanted list in the country. So he was a young man, 19 years old or so. So he thought, I better get out of this country, otherwise they're going to catch me. So he decided to leave. He went to other places around Europe. He's traveling around, and somehow he got on this quest. He got on a spiritual quest. He wanted to learn about God, who He is, what's the goal of life. I'm here in Europe, traveling around, and difficult time of his life. So he's talking to different people, and eventually someone said, you should go to India. You want to learn about God, spiritual life, India's the place. And then you would hear it again, and you hear it again, and he thought, well, I guess that's my destiny, to go to India. So he decided to hitchhike to India. So he did. He went to India, and he's traveling around, and he's hearing different sadhus, and he's reading different books, and he got one of Prabhupada's books. And he was most impressed with what he read in Prabhupada's books. And he met some devotees, and he found out about the temple in Chaupati, and he was visiting for many months, and then eventually they saw his sincerity, and they let him move in to the temple. What a great place to get trained up, right? Chaupati. So then, at one point, he decided, well, I guess I should call my mother and let her know what's happening. He hadn't talked to her in 3 years or so. So he called her up, and he's talking to her and for a while, and then he says, oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm a monk now. And she said, You're a monk? I can't believe you're a monk. How did that happen? He said, yeah, I got this book by this author, and really nice book, so I took it up, and now I've been a monk for a few months now. And she said, well, what kind of a monk are you? He said, I'm a Hare Krishna monk. And she said, well, Haribo. And he said, wait, how do you know Haribo? She said, I'm a devotee too. She said, what? How did you become a devotee? She said, well, one devotee was going door to door distributing books, and I got a Bhagavad Gita from him, gave a donation, and I read the Bhagavad Gita. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I found out about the temple and visiting the temple and visiting the temple and visiting the temple, and then started chanting 16 rounds, and now I'm initiated. He was shocked. He was still a bhakta. So, Prabhupada's books get around. Now he distributed over 500 million books, and still going. Still going. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. There's a golden rule about book distribution. Does anybody know the golden rule? Anybody here know the golden rule about book distribution? Show more, sell more? That's a good rule, I like that. But the golden rule is? Yes, there you go. Everybody walks away with a good impression. Whether they take a book or they don't take a book. Because they may not take a book when you speak to them, but they may take a book later. Like Vaiseshika Prabhu, he's my hero. And we have our entrance mantras, right? We first talk, and then there's an exit mantra. Yeah. Who's ever heard of an exit mantra? Vaiseshika Prabhu's got an exit mantra. If they don't take a book, he tells them, well, I want to thank you so much for giving me your valuable time. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And no book distributors do all that, but he does. And it has a result. Sometimes they come back and say, you're such a gentleman. We changed our mind. Well, we'll take a book. Yeah. This is Vaiseshika Prabhu. He's such a gentleman. So, therefore, it's stated, Tatikshaya karuniya maitra chikila jantasu samatvena chasarvadma bhagavan samprasidati. That if we approach Krishna with these qualities, Krishna is very, very, very pleased. First one, tolerance. We had to be tolerant. Yeah. It's like sometimes on book distribution, you get no's. Yeah? Every once in a while, you get a no. Lots of no's, right? But those no's are good because they help us to be tolerant. And therefore we should thank them. Thank you. Because they're helping us to grow in tolerance. Tolerance it's not an easy quality in Kali Yuga. So the no's are welcome. Like another thing is the Vaiseshika Prabhu does. He goes out with new people. He goes out and he tells them, see how many no's you can get. See if you can get 50 no's. They come, I got 45 so far. All right, go ahead. Just get 5 more. So he makes it positive. The no's are good. They help us to be tolerant. And without tolerance, you can't get the next quality, which is compassion. Compassion. It's not possible to have compassion if we're not tolerant. So it's very important. And compassion, that's a difficult one because, again, we're born in this world with desire and hate. So compassion is diametrically opposed, completely different. So this is something we can also pray for, compassion for the conditioned souls. And man proposes, God disposes, yes. So if we want this, Krishna will help us to develop this compassion. What does it mean? Compassion means you see someone suffering, you want to help. That's compassion. So people are suffering. Even here we are in Silicon Valley, people are well-to-do, but they're suffering also. Everybody's suffering in the material world. Some more, some less, but everybody's suffering. It's like sometimes when I'm distributing, I'll call them over. Hey, they say, no, I'm good. I tell them, no, but you could be better. And sometimes they say, oh yeah, good point there. All right, yeah, what do you got? And then they take a book. Not many, but usually they just go on anyway. We could always be better, right? Excuse me. So tatiksya, karunya, maitra. What does maitra mean? Friend. If we approach people in a friendly way, Krishna's pleased. And we should approach them like that, like they're our old friend. You know? And they may be, because we, who knows who we were and who they were in the spiritual world. They could have been our old friend in the spiritual world, meeting up again. You never know. So to approach people in a friendly way. Krishna's pleased with this. So many places, Krishna, he says that he approaches, who sees people equally, his friend, his enemy, all the same. Pretty amazing. See, the enemy and the friend is the same. Because you go deep down, everybody is a spirit soul. Everybody is pure. Everyone is a pure soul. Like yesterday, I was distributing books to one person from Nepal, and this Christian lady came up and she starts criticizing and breaking up the sale, trying to break up the sale. Yeah. Unfortunately, she did. And she was saying all kinds of nonsense I don't want to say here. But after she left, I didn't feel anything bad towards her, because I was just thinking she's just another conditioned soul. Deep down, she has love for Krishna. Deep down. So I didn't feel any animosity towards her. Unfortunately, the person that I was talking to didn't get a book, but she's being misled. Yeah. She's being misled, and therefore very fanatical and coming off like that, disturbing. So deep down, everybody is a spirit soul. Everybody has love for Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sajjika Banoy. Shravanari Suruchitte Korya Yudoy. This is the position of everyone. Everybody has pure love for Krishna in their heart. Now it's just covered. So by this process of Krishna consciousness, we get uncovered. We get purified. So we want to help others also get purified. Just like if you have a piece of iron and you have a magnet. The iron and the magnet naturally attracted. Yeah? Natural attraction. But if some rust gets on the iron, if a lot of rust gets on the iron, is there attraction? No more attraction, right? Because it's covered by the rust. But if that rust is scraped off, again there's attraction. So now we have this rust covering. So there may not be, there's some attraction here amongst the devotees. There's some attraction. May not be complete attraction to Krishna. So we're still scraping it off. When we're chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We're scraping the rust off. The rusty lust. We're scraping it off. And eventually, that attraction will be there. So we got to get this knowledge out to the people so they can know that you're covered. They don't know they're covered. They're thinking they're good. It's all good. I'm clean. I'm good. I'm all right. This is Maya. They're in Maya. So we have to let them know. No, you're not all right. You're rusty. You got to get the rust off. So, Titikshaya, Karunya, Maitra, Chikilajan, Samatvena, Chisarvadma. And the last one, the fourth one is, if we see people equally, if we see that everyone is a soul, if we look beyond the covering, beyond the body, beyond, this is a man, this is a woman, this is a fat man, this is an ugly man, this is, all this, no, we have to go beyond. Like there was one instance where some devotees were cultivating this man. He was big. He weighed about 400 pounds. He was huge. So they went in to introduce him to Prabhupada. And one devotee said to Prabhupada, he's a pretty big boy, eh, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, he's no bigger than you are. You're seeing the body, I'm seeing the soul. He doesn't weigh any more than you. He doesn't weigh anything. So Prabhupada saw the soul. Beyond the body, beyond the covering. So the more we practice this Krishna consciousness, the more we'll get this realization that I'm the soul, that I'm part of Krishna. And we'll see everybody. Everybody is a soul. Everybody is part of Krishna. And then you'll be so happy, approaching people. You might find yourself out there on book distribution, you're just smiling all day long because you have this consciousness. Yesterday I had that experience. I was smiling all day long. Believe it or not, you could smile so much that you got to massage your smile muscles. You know we have smile muscles? You know that? If you smile a lot, your smile muscles get a little sore. You got to massage. Got to massage the smile muscles. It's a nice problem. Sore smile muscles. Because it's such a nice activity, giving Krishna to others. For millions of lifetimes, some of them haven't had any connection to Krishna. Now finally they're getting an opportunity to hear about Krishna, to serve Krishna. It's very auspicious. So we have a little time left. Is there any question or comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna. I was hoping to get some advice from you when going out on Sankirtan for book distribution. One thing I often struggle with is determining who to approach, when to approach. Sometimes I'll be in a mood where I approach every single person, everyone that's passing by, hey, do you have a book, or did you get one, or just say something to them. There's other times where that feels a bit excessive, maybe it comes off as desperate, or maybe a little too much for people sometimes. So do you have any guidance on an approach to take, or how to evaluate what the best approach is?
Okay, very good question. Let's say there's two people coming. You can't approach both of them. One's elderly, one's younger. So you approach the younger. It's hard to bend old branches, right? So you got to be a little practical. That's one example. But sometimes when we're on book distribution, we get a little, like you said, we get a little passionate. We just approach everybody. But try to be a little cool-minded. Have the proper, the most important thing is the consciousness. If you have the proper consciousness, then Krishna will send people. He's sarva karana karanam, he's the cause of all causes. And he's in control of everything. So I find this, that when I'm in good consciousness, it's amazing how many people are interested and give donations. When I'm not in good consciousness, it's amazing how many people are not interested and have no money. Sorry, I don't have any cash. You ever find that? It's amazing, isn't it? So book distribution, it's all about our consciousness. And therefore, good sadhana. So important. Before you go out on book distribution, you got to read Prabhupada's books. You got to read, and your rounds should be chanted as much as possible. Have your rounds chanted. It means get up a little earlier. Sadhana is so important. And hear attentively. Also, you see, the nice thing about book distribution is you're going to be out there. You're going to be approaching people that don't know anything about Krishna, and we're going to be asking for their money, their hard-earned, money. So we got to be pretty sincere, pretty fired up, right? So that comes from good sadhana. To convince them to take a book they've never heard of, and to give their hard-earned money to you, never seen you before, right? So that's called Krishna Shakti. Krishna Shakti, and that comes from sadhana. Good rounds, read Prabhupada's books at least an hour before you go out. There was one devotee who he used to be the #1 book distributor in the world. He would read, believe it or not, he would read between 3 and 4 hours before he would go out. Harinamananda from Switzerland. He had good sadhana. And therefore, when he got out there, he had the Shakti. And people felt it. So, it's very important to have this good sadhana. And we got to pray. When you're out there, you got to pray, Krishna, please help me to be an instrument in your hands. Please help me to understand that these living entities are all your parts and parcels, and this is the only thing that will bring them ultimate happiness. You got to pray. And not just when you're out there, when you're here too. Like we're going to have Guru Puja. Pray to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, please. You came and you gave Krishna consciousness. Please help me to be an instrument in your hands. Pray to Prabhupada. Pray to Krishna. Pray to the devotees. There's a lot of prayer. There's a lot of prayer. And Krishna, he reciprocates. Pray to the Sankirtana. Pray to Vaiseshika Babu. And Krishna, he reciprocates. Yes, Prabhu. The microphone is just now coming. He's way in the back.
Thank you, Prabhu. Came a little late, so I don't know the context of the today's class. So, but I just want to ask a question. We heard from different sources that your sadhana is exemplary, and you are a big book distributor in the western part of this country, and you're a Prabhupada's disciple. I think so.
Well, because I'm kind of elderly, there's this misunderstanding. I joined 9 months after Prabhupada left.
Okay.
I just missed the boat.
So still...
Sorry to disappoint you.
That's fine. My question is, how can we become a pure devotee of the Lord with so much maya around us?
You gotta ask Vaiseshika. He's the pure devotee. You gotta ask somebody that's a pure devotee. But from what I've read, the way to become a pure devotee is we have to take very seriously. Prabhupada used these two words, serious and sincere, quite a bit. He had used them together, serious and sincere. Sincere means genuine desire to please Krishna. And thoughtful means, sincere and serious. Serious means thoughtful. Like when we're reading Prabhupada's books are so nice. But we shouldn't read them like a novel, just zip through. Prabhupada told one devotee, you should try to feel. He told Yamunadeva, feel what you're reading. Don't just read it but try to actually grasp what's being said. Sometimes, any of you had the experience, you're reading the whole page and nothing went in? Isn't it amazing? And you're reading the whole page, hey, wait a second. The mind, it's like japa, isn't it? Like you chanted a whole round and didn't hear anything, right? The mind is such a rascal. So when you do that, when you're reading, also try to grasp it. And let's say you read a whole page and nothing went in. So read it again. Go back, read it again. Read it again. Read it again until it sinks in. Because these are words of wisdom that elevate us, that inspire us. Sometimes devotees ask me, what inspires you the most? They ask me, I say, well, Bhagavad Gita. Reading Bhagavad Gita inspires me the most. And I know we have this chapter a day. It's wonderful. I've been doing it. Vaiseshika, who got me on this, I don't know, I've been doing it for about, 15 years or something, every day. It's nice program. But we also have to read the purports. Prabhupada said they're my devotional ecstasy. So I have 2 bookmarks in my Bhagavad Gita, with the chapter and also the purports. Because the purports are, each sentence in these purports are like a sloka in itself. Because it's coming from Krishna also. Prabhupada said, Krishna wrote these books. So these purports are dynamic. So they also have to be read. So that's where Bhagavad Gita is where I get most of my inspiration. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. Microphone is just now coming.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. When I heard that you are a very great book distributor, I was eager to hear your class. Thank you so much for walking us through many aspects of book distribution. One thing is, we go for book distribution, we pack the books and with all good intention and everything. So when we present the books, sometimes, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, we encounter people that they are ready to take it, but when we tell about the Lakshmi $250, now they are hesitating. And some people, because they think that it is high amount, they probably don't want to take now. And we genuinely feel that they would have taken. But like when we say the Lakshmi, now they are hesitating. What should be our right mood at that point? Should we give them for less, ask them to give in future, or should we let them pass?
Well, there's a way to present the amount. Parameshwar, he's the #1 book distributor in the world. He passed up Harinamananda. He's distributed more books than anybody else in the history of ISKCON. So what he does is, now how many books are there in a set? There's 18, I believe, 18, right?
18, yes.
So and they're big. So in a store, a book that big with pictures, it would be about $50 if you go to a store. So he tells them, in a store, these are big books. These books will be about $900 in the store, but today we're just giving it in for $250, and they'll feel good. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good deal, yeah. From $900 to $250, so you kind of bring it down, and he does sets like that. So that's a little tip for you. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the sets. It's a big challenge. I'm not used to this. I've been distributing books now by Krishna's mercy for 46 years, but this is a whole nother level, selling sets to people that are not even Hindus, to non-devotees, to karmis. They've never heard of Krishna. So that's a whole nother level I'm trying to understand and try to pick up, hopefully, eventually.
Thank you, Prabhu. Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
So Prabhu, like we go out for book distribution, we distribute, but again there is time constraint. We have to collect all the books, do all the book points, measurement, submit the report, take care of all the Lakshmi reporting and all these things. And Monday to Friday we have work as well. But when we distribute these books to a lot of people, how do we follow up with those people so that they can come? Of course, we invite them, we give them a card. Sometimes, if we see them, they are very, very pious, we add to certain groups. But is there any other method, any other thing that you suggest?
Well, what you have here in ISV is you have these online, what do they call that? Bhakti community. So that's fantastic. And I signed up for it, so I'm also on there. I wanted to see what's going on, what's going on here. So it's fantastic. I met a nice lady yesterday. She lives on the East Coast somewhere. And I said, so you're going to be here tomorrow? I was going to invite her for Sunday. She says, no, I won't be here. So that's all right. You can go online, Bhakti community. So I gave her that. And she said, oh, that's fantastic. So, some people will go on, and we distribute these invitations to the temple. And obviously, some will come, some won't come. Most won't come because, people are in their material life. So, but there's a saying that you can't force a horse to water. You can't force him to drink, right? So we offer. We're offering the books. We're offering them to visit the temple. And if you meet a real nice person, you can get their email. That's another thing. Keep in touch with them. Devotees are doing that now. Devotees, they're meeting real nice people, and they're having readings with them. They'll get their phone number also, and they'll have readings with them. They could read the books with the devotee, which is nice. There's a number of devotees are doing that, that's fantastic. And it's more personal. And then you might have some question as they're reading. It's fantastic, actually. So that's another thing that we can do for follow-up. And some of them are becoming devotees, these people that they're having readings with the people that they get books from. It's fantastic. That's one of the best things I've heard yet. They're doing that in Houston now and other places. What's his name? Devarata Prabhu, he does that as well. You're Vaiseshika Guru disciple. So that's another thing. Oh, now, is there supposed to say something happening at 9:30? Oh yeah. Do you want me to tell one more Sankirtan story before we? All right, you want to hear one more Sankirtan story? Yes. I was distributing books door to door in Australia and knocked on the door and I had a Bhagavad Gita, and the person saw the Bhagavad Gita. He said, no, I'm not interested. I worship Satan. And I said, well, this book is about God, so you should know your enemy. He said, all right, good point. I'll take one. And he gave a nice donation. So many excuses they come up with. So you have to. Krishna is known as Diyam Pati. He's the Lord of intelligence. So that's another. We got to pray to Krishna for intelligence. They come up with excuses. So we got to. Maybe next class I'll tell you I'll counter the excuses. Somebody remind me next class. Because there's a lot of excuses out there, eh? Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Vijaya Prabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, Prabhu. That was really a fantastic class. We always, being a community with doing book distribution, we relish all the pastimes and experiences of devotees doing book distribution. So this is always a topic that's ever increasing our enthusiasm. So thank you for enthusing us this morning. So we'll move on to the next part of our program. I just request everyone to still please be seated because we are going to do a presentation. And I have Gauranga, who is going to talk about the pastimes of Lord Nrsimhadeva and a lot of learnings actually that we get from it. So we have a very deep overview of how many different aspects of Lord Nrsimhadeva's appearance and the behavior of devotee like Prahlad, we can learn so much from that. So this is going to be a deep, in detail presentation on that topic. With that, I hand over to Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, everybody. My name is Gauranga. Today I'm going to speak about the chapter named Double Dose of Mercy. It's coming from the book called Disapproved but Not Disowned by His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhuji. So, in this story,
Hold on. It's just trying to. One second. Okay.
yeah, in this story, it's all about Sri Prahlad Maharaj and Sri Nrsimhadeva. So, yeah. Oh. Yeah. So, Jaya and Vijaya are the gatekeepers of Lord Vaikuntha. So they committed an offense, so that's why they had to take birth as demons for 3 lifetimes. So in the first lifetime, Jaya had become Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu was a great demon, and he was the king of all demons. He was the king of all demons, and Hiranyakashipu, his enemy was Lord Vishnu, so his main plan was to destroy him. So to do that, he had to get some boons. So he went to tapasya, which means austerities, and he performed it for many celestial years. He had performed so much that Lord Brahma became pleased and asked, "What do you want?" And then Hiranyakashipu said that, "I want the boon of immortality." But Lord Brahma cannot grant immortality because he doesn't have the power of avoiding death. So how can he give the boon of immortality? So Hiranyakashipu was very clever. So he asked by saying, "I should not come to death by any being created by you during the daytime or at night, on the ground or in the sky, within or outside of any house, by any weapon, human being, animal, demigod, demons, or snakes. And also let me not have any rival, and grant me all mystic powers and lordship over all planets." So Hiranyakashipu was very clever of this. So he wanted to rule the whole universe and make everybody follow him. So Hiranyakashipu, he controlled the natures at his whims. His boons was very powerful, and he was able to control everybody, and he even kick it off every demigod off their thrones, and he installed his demon servants and made his own demon kingdom. So everybody became upset. He tortured brahmanas, Vedas, cows, and principles of Dharma. All of them were very they were all oppressed due to his torture. So that's why the demigods had to go to Lord Vishnu and seek for help. When they went to seek for help, Lord Vishnu said, he reassured them by saying, "Don't worry, I will come to this material world and destroy this demon." And he said, "Whoever is envious of my devotees, Vaishnavas, Brahmanas, cows, Dharma, then he and his civilization will become vanquished." So the demigods offered their respects, and went back to their abode thinking Hiranyakashipu was good as dead. So, being busy in all of this, Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons, and out of all their 4 sons, the best was Prahlad Maharaj, who was a divine devotee of the Lord. So, Prahlad Maharaj, he was in the womb of her mother named Kayadu. So, Kayadu, when she was alone, demigods actually thought that there's another great demon coming again. So that's why the demigods tried to kill Prahlad Maharaj in the womb. So, but Sri Narada Mahamuni came and stopped them, saying that this child will become a very great devotee of the Lord. So, because Prahlad Maharaj was a very divine devotee, so that's why Narada Muni told them to leave, and the demigods offered their respects and left. So the merciful sage actually took Prahlad Maharaj, her mother Kayadu, to his ashram and gave her shelter, and he was teaching Vishnu, teaching about Vishnu. But Kayadu was very anxious that she couldn't listen properly, so that's why she wasn't able to understand anything. But Prahlad Maharaj in the womb was very attentive. He was listening very much, and he developed unflinching devotion to Lord Vishnu. So Prahlad Maharaj was busy hearing, and he really loved this Krishna Katha. And after some time later, when Hiranyakashipu returned, Prahlad Maharaj hardly had 5 years old and was sent to a school where children are taught about politics and diplomacy. So, but Prahlad Maharaj was never interested in those stuff. And he only cared about Lord Vishnu, Bhakti Yoga. He even used to preach there. So one day, Hiranyakashipu once affectionately asked a question to his son, Prahlad Maharaj, that what do you consider being the best? Then Prahlad Maharaj said that renouncing everything and taking sannyas is the best thing. Then Hiranyakashipu laughed so loudly and said, and he said that don't go by these stupid things, just to follow me. He said that he instructed his servants Shanda and Amarka to teach him properly and protect him from the devotees of the Lord. So again, after some time, there was still teaching, but Prahlad Maharaj never ignored all those teachings and only thought of the same thing. He was again brought back to his father, and he asked again, now tell me, my son. Then Prahlad Maharaj explained about the 9 types of bhakti: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So Hiranyakashipu got really furious and asked, who taught you this knowledge? Then Prahlad Maharaj said that material householders do not develop the philosophy. They do not understand all this. Only whoever associates with Vaishnavas can understand this. Then Hiranyakashipu immediately threw Prahlad off his lap onto the ground. And Prahlad Maharaj was very hurt. And Hiranyakashipu said, or instructed his servants to kill this boy. Proud people, for proud people, their enemy is destroying their enemy is more important than love for their own child. Hiranyakashipu didn't love his child anymore. He is not caring about his son now. So Prahlad Maharaj was trying to be killed in many ways, but he was not able to be killed because he was always protected by the Lord. So Prahlad Maharaj was trying to be killed in many ways, like for example, throwing under the feet of elephants, among huge snakes, cobra snakes, and also the servants actually tried to throw him off the summit of a mountain, but Lord Narayan came and catched him. So, and also they even tried to starve him, expose him to fire, water, wind, but nothing could kill him. All the attempts failed. So when all the attempts failed, he was again sent back to school. But there in school, his classmates invited him to play. But Prahlad Maharaj told them that playing is not important. He explained about the importance of human form of life and the futility of material pleasures. He urged them to take Vishnu Bhakti. So that's why. So just as Prahlad Maharaj got inspired by Narada Mahamuni, the classmates got inspired by Prahlad Maharaj's teachings. So Shanda and Amarka, those teachers, were very confused and reported this to Hiranyakashipu. Then Hiranyakashipu, the demon, was very perplexed and asked, "You rascal, by whose power you're becoming impudent, that you appear to be fearless? Do you know that I am the king of this material world, and when I get angry, all the planets of the three worlds tremble?" That was the proud mentality of Hiranyakashipu. But Prahlad Maharaj said that the source of my strength and your strength is Lord Vishnu. So the original source of all kinds of strengths is Lord Vishnu. Then Hiranyakashipu said, if it's like that, then is Lord Vishnu in this pillar? Then Prahlad said yes. So immediately the demon took his fist and struck the pillar in rage. And immediately the pillar burst out, and the half man, half lion incarnation of Lord Narayan appeared. And he came with so much anger, and the fight went on for a while between Hiranyakashipu and the Lord. So for a long time they fought, and after some time enduring the fight, the Lord took the demon on his lap and killed him at the time of sunset with his nails and on the doorway. Thus he did not violate the benedictions given by Lord Brahma, because the Lord also wants to preserve the autonomy of demigods. The Lord is always fair. So Prahlad Maharaj was immediately happy, and Lord Nrsimhadeva ripped his chest and stomach and plucked his heart, and he said, the Lord said that I was living in this heart peacefully, but why did this man allow hatred, anger, lust, greed, pride, envy to live here? And then immediately he threw the demon's heart away. So the demigods were very much pleased and offered their prayers, but nobody could pacify the Lord. Even Lakshmi Devi, who was always with the Lord serving him, she could not even pacify the Lord. So the only person was left is Sri Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was requested to pray, and then Prahlad Maharaj was never proud of himself. He was always humble and meek. So After doing his prayers, Lord Nrsimhadeva got pleased and asked him to ask for any boons. But Lord Prahlad Maharaj considered material boons to be obstacles in the path of bhakti yoga. So that's why he told the Lord to not tempt him. So after saying that, Lord Nrsimhadeva insisted. So Prahlad Maharaj had to ask for a boon, and the boon he asked for is to not have any material desires. So Prahlad Maharaj was also worried about his father, even though Hiranyakashipu was torturing him so much, but Prahlad Maharaj still respects his father. That's the mentality of a pure devotee. Nrsimhadeva already delivered him. So he told Prahlad that he's one of the 21 forefathers. So that's why Nrsimhadeva told Prahlad Maharaj to do the final rites, and the Lord departed to his own abode. So that's the story of Nrsimha and Prahlad. So now let's focus on the key takeaways. Number 1, death is inevitable for anyone born in this world. However clever one may be in devising plans to avoid death, one can surpass the intelligence of the Supreme Lord, who can cause death in many other ways. So death, whoever is born in this material world has to get death, because nobody can surpass the intelligence of the Lord. Because the Supreme Lord is the one who gives intelligence to everybody. Number 2, demons control their senses with great determination to receive material boons, but by the very power of those boons, they become victims of uncontrolled senses and become dissatisfied. The irony of material boons is that instead of giving satisfaction, they lead to dissatisfaction. So the demons. The demons are always dissatisfied because they always busy getting boons, and eventually their mind becomes very disturbed and they become dissatisfied. Number 3, a false sinful activities offense to devotee is more severe. God can tolerate anything, but not violence towards his devotees. All the boons received by an offender becomes null and void as soon as he offends a devotee. So all aparad, Vaishnava aparad is the most severe offense. So that's why we should always be careful when we come to devotees. Number 4, Maya has created the concept of distinguishing people as friends and enemies, but the reality is that all living beings are equal, because they all are parts and servants of the Lord. Great souls like Prahlada have such equal vision. In the spiritual world, we're all equal. We're all parts and parcels of the Lord. So that's why there is no fighting or war. Number 5, Prahlad disagreed with the materialistic philosophy of his father and teachers, but he never disrespected them. Prahlad Maharaj disapproved his father's mentality of materialistic, but he never disowned his father. He still respects him. Number 6, God takes the responsibility of protecting his devotees from all kinds of calamity, and a faithful devotee is always confident of Lord's protection, so they don't worry. So Lord Vishnu, he always takes the responsibility of protecting his his devotee. And the devotee is always faithful. He never gets any doubt. Number 7, a devotee is Ajata Shatru. He is never hateful to anyone, even towards those who hate him. Ajata Shatru means one who doesn't have any enemies. For example, Maharaj Yudhishthir was an Ajata Shatru. Number 8, A devotee is not only convinced that not only he or she but every living being is ultimately dependent on God's power. Without God's sanctions, not a blade of grass moves. Everything happens under the will of the Lord. Number 9. Lord Nrsimhadeva sat on Hiranyakashipu's throne to show everyone that his devotee was fortunate in any condition of his life. God never disowns his devotee. So, Nrsimhadev, by this thing, we can understand that Nrsimhadev shows his affection for his dear devotee Hiranyakashipu. Even though he's a demon in this life, in the past life he was a great devotee. He was the gatekeeper of Vaikuntha. Number 10. A humble Vaishnava who is fully qualified to serve the Lord still thinks oneself extremely low. He is never falsely proud of his qualifications. Every Vaishnava should be humble, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshashtakam. Number 11. The Supreme Lord chooses to preserve the autonomy of the demigods by not violating their benedictions. Yet he protects the innocent by punishing the demonic. So the Supreme Lord always be fair with everybody. He's never unfair and supports. He doesn't go on one side. He also a little bit goes on the demon side because. So number 12, Prahlada Maharaj strongly disapproved the materialistic nature of people in general, but he doesn't disregard them. Rather, he selflessly prayed for their deliverance. Number 13, the degraded mentality of people might create disgust in the mind of an average person, but it creates sympathy in the heart of a kind devotee. A devotee is always merciful on all fallen souls, so that's why we should respect them. Number 14, God and godly people disapprove ungodly behavior and may even punish the people who behave so, but they don't disown them, for their hearts are filled with compassion. So God and his devotees, they disapprove of materialistic people and demon, but they never disown them because they're all parts and parcels of the Lord. God and his devotees are always compassionate. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Gauranga. We have just a minute or so for any reflections or questions, because we have to go on to Guru Puja. Sorry for a long extension here. Yes. Anyone has any comments or questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gauranga, for the wonderful presentation. You deserve to give a Bhagavatam class, although you're forced to give a small class. I think everything went really well. Initially, there was some hesitation with the technical issues, but still that didn't deviate you from telling the whole storyline without missing even minute details. So it was very cohesive, the story. You did not miss any detail. Very good presentation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I think we'll end it here. And apologies again, we went about 10 minutes over. But this is Gauranga's first time. He's joining Kaishura in fall. So I look forward to having you in the class, Gauranga. And of course, a lot of detail has gone into this presentation. So I really appreciate all the effort that probably Prabhu and Gauranga have put in to prepare this for this morning. Thank you so much. Now we'll request everyone to stand up, put the mats away, and prepare the hall for Guru Puja. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Now we'll have a Guru Puja. It means the worship of the spiritual teacher, known as Srila Prabhupada, who is responsible for establishing ISKCON in the western part of the world, as well as all over the world eventually. So if you don't know the words, it's okay just to invoke a feeling of gratitude from within your heart and you'll establish the same connection. We'll do in call and response fashion. Chadya Vaishnava Seva Nistaya Parecha Keva. Chadya Vaishnava Seva Nistaya Parecha Keva. Chadya Vaishnava Seva Nistaya Parecha Keva. Namashishtam Manu, now we'll do together. Namashishtam Manumapi Shachiputram Attaswarupam Shri Rupam Tasya Gajam Murupurim Maturim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Mahuradika Madhavasham Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tamonatosmi. He Guru Gyanadina Bandho Swananda Data Kanika Sindhu Vrindavana Sinahitavatara Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. He Dina Bandho Karenika Sindhu Guru Prasadam Mai Mandamure Laksha Parare Bahupapagare Tatpada Padmestu Matishta Krishne Nevo Payantya Pichitam Kavayastavesha Brahmayusha Pikritam Ridamuda Smaranta Yonta Gahistanubritam Ashubam Vidunvan Acharya Shaitya Vapusha Svagatim Vyanakti. Without serving the representative of Krishna, nobody can approach Krishna. Together, I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Swarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire from within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, you have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudeva, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a doleful and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore, grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science cannot fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they were endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma, for you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Supersoul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain true devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. My spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. You take shelter of your lotus feet. Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Anno Mui Tabadana prasad bai bhavatu Vijaya. Krishna prapti hoya hoite. Padma Vakya Chitate Koriya Aikya. Arna Kuri Ho Mane Asha. Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati. Ye prasade pure sarva asha. Chakudan dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se. Chakudan dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se. Devya gyan rede prokashito. Prema bhakti yaha hoite avidya vinasayate. Prema bhakti yaha hoite avidya vinasayate. Vede gaya haracharito. Vede gaya haracharito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Dhamma Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Dhamma Janara Bandhu. Lokana Lokera Jivana. Lokana Lokera Jivana. Aha Prabhu Paradaya Deho More Pada Chaya. Aha Prabhu Paradaya Deho More Pada Chaya. Ebe Yasudu Shikrubu Vana. Ebe Yasudu Shikrubu Vana. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya, Jaya Gurudev. Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Vishatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Jaya Mahaprabhu, 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 Jaya Mahaprabhu. Lakshmi Nrsimha Narahari, Lakshmi Nrsimha Jaya Narahari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद शील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री मथुरा धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की मायापुर धाम की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories and all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Sharira Vidya Jal. Announce.
Are there any announcements?
From Bhakti Committee.
Sorry, I don't want Bhakti community to in between your prasadam. But a quick reminder to everyone that we have a very good follow-up program for any newcomers that you are giving books to. Please don't forget to sign them up right away on the street when you give them the book. Go to bhakticommunity.com and there's just only 4 fields that you have to enter: their name, their email ID, phone number, and the contact person who's registering them. It's a very easy process. As soon as they are onboarded onto the form, they will immediately get notifications on our programs and they will start attending programs right from Monday. So we have a program on Monday, 5:30 p.m., on Thursday again 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we have another program on Sunday 8 a.m. So 3 programs in the week, bare minimum. There are other in-person programs. These newcomers will start getting invitations for home programs, which teaches Krishna consciousness in a very, very simplified way and does a lot of mantra meditation and music. So please don't forget, as somebody was asking in the class, that's a good way to start giving association to the newcomers. Don't just give them, just leave them with a book. Leave them with a contact person who can connect with them, hold their hand, be their friend in a very non-judgmental way. That's exactly what Bhakti Community is doing. So please, bhakticommunity.com is the website. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. My humble obeisance, it's really nice to see you all. Thank you for joining. We have at least 2 newcomers, Bo and Tyler, right? Bo and Tyler, husband and wife. Please welcome them with 3 Hari Bos. Hari Bo! Hari Bo! Hari Bo! Now, we met a few weeks ago at Bhakti SF and he decided to come here for the first time. It's really nice to have you. Thank you for joining. We're having announcements on book distribution locations. We have 3 principal ones: Muir Woods, Oakland, it's a farmer's market in Lake Merritt there, and then Indian Outreach, it means Indian Body, and any local grocery and or restaurants we'll be focusing on today. And then if you all have any ideas that are heavily populated places that have minimal restrictions, that's favorable for our motivation, so please let us know without hesitation. Other than that, I'll kindly conclude with one Srila Prabhupada quote. It's important. It helps us to remember his mood and mission, because oftentimes it's easy to get lost without a proper perspective, at least for me. Therefore, quote, "You have rightly said when you write that the devotees are working to please me by distributing my books. My mission on behalf of my Guru Maharaj and Lord Chaitanya to spread Krishna consciousness would never have been so successful if it had not been taken up by enthusiastic boys and girls, such as in San Francisco, especially through distribution of books." This is a letter dated 28th June 1974 to Bhakta Das in Melbourne. Thank you for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Going to prasadam prayers, these are to cultivate a feeling of gratitude for the food that we are going to honor shortly. If you don't know the words, just feel that way in your heart.
Prasadam will be served outside. Let us sing prasadam prayers. Sharira avidya jal, Jadendriya tahe kal, Jive phale vishaya sagore, Taramadi jivate, Lobomaya sudurmati, Take jata katina samsare, Krishna bado doyamay, Kori bare jiva jay, Swaprasad annadilo bhai, Sai anna amrita pao, Radha Krishna guna gao, Preme dako Sri Chaitanya Nitai, Jai Nimai Jai Nitai, Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Swalpa Punya Mritam Rajan, Vishwaso Navajayate, Prasade Sarva Dukkanam, Anir Asyo Pajayate, Prasanna Chetasoi Asu, बुद्धिपर्यविष्टते त्वयोपभुक्त षड्गन्धा वासोऽलङ्कार चर्चिता उच्छिष्ट भोजन दासा तव मायां जयेमहि शुष्कं प्रविष्टं वापि नीतं वा दूरदेशतां प्राप्तिमात्रेण भोक्तव्यं नात्र कालविचारणः न देशनियमस्तत्र न कालनियमस्ततां प्राप्तम् अन्नं द्रुतं शिष्टाय भोक्तव्यं हरिरब्रवीत्। श्री श्री भगवत महाप्रसाद की